happening, everybody? Uh, People are asking me why I am still long-term bullish. Uh, I just been buying dips, and here I'm going to show you on the weekly chart on why I've been buying at these different levels. And I've been long for a long time, since December, and then again in February. So I'm playing with house money, I guess you could say. So I like to be buying on dips until some of these longer term indicators tell me why, or tell me to reverse and go the other way. And for now, I'm still on the buying dip sentiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on the weekly kind of what I'm looking at, kind of dive into the RSI, and look at some of the zones that are out there, and what am I going to be looking for to see that inflection point. So let's take a look at the weekly. All right, weekly Bitcoin versus the dollar. This is on Coinbase. Uh, the blue lines on here are trend lines. Um, the vertical lines are areas on the RSI that we're going to look at. Um that's really all I have on the chart. I have the ADX on here. We're probably not going to be talking about that very much. I'm going to dive into the RSI a little bit. Uh, Actually, there's a bearish, just for a quick glimpse, when the RSI was trading up here in the bullish zone, you had a nice bullish trend. It was at this point right here on this vertical line when it broke down into the bearish zone, and then hit some resistance here to keep us on the bearish side, and then we had a bearish market. So, but I want to look at a little bit more detail of what was going on as we were doing this transition. So let's look at a fib level here on kind of this area that we're looking at. This latest move. Take a look at this leg right here. Um, I'm going to draw this out so you can see it here a little better. Um, let's There we go. The What was happening right at this point on this breakdown was the price came down, tested the 61.8% right here, busted through right at this point, and that's when it went down below this support level on the RSI into the bearish zone. And it was this bounce off of the 55 that it came back up, um, and hit the 61.8% area as resistance, and it was testing resistance on the actual indicator itself. So one thing to look at, which I thought is kind of interesting, is if we start looking the other direction and you look at the Fibonacci going from the high down to where the low was here. And let me stretch this out so you can see what's going on here with price. Let's stretch it out over here. What was happening is you would come down here, bounce back up, and it was hitting that 38.2% level right here as resistance, which is a nice shallow Fibonacci, telling us that if it holds here, the trend should go the other direction, and that's what happened. We got into this bearish zone, and just kind of worked our way down to the downside. So flipping over to what we're at looking at today, um, you know, coming back to this point when we broke back up into the bullish zone, and we are currently still in the bullish zone. And I know this is a weekly and it's going to be a little bit laggy, and I got to wait for data by the end of the week, but this is something that I'm going to be looking for on this. I definitely want to see the RSI move back down into the bearish zone, before I want to consider myself going, having an inflection point saying this is a long-term bearish market, or at least it would crash a lot more than what people are anticipating. But so for now, we're still in the bullish zone. So what was happening? Let's take a look at the Fibonacci here. Right at this point, when it was breaking up into the bullish zone, we were at this point right here. We broke above the moving average here. So from this low here, this is the leg we want to look at. And if we stretch it out over here, Uh, the 61.8% level is at 84.47, and that's that 8,500 level that I like, and basically everybody and their brother, looking at it all different ways and different patterns. It's all coming down to this 8,500 level. I know there's a gap to fill on the futures market. There's a whole bunch of different things going on at this 8,500. So what I'm thinking is, if this thing comes down and tests that 61.8%, it's going to be testing the support on the RSI. So as we work our way down into this area, that's my next area of buying interest. Um, so what to look for? Maybe we break this RSI to the downside, and if we break the 61.8% level, I think we head back down to 6,900, or basically where the 55 exponential moving average is. But before that happens, I think we can find some buying interest in here, because I know there's a lot of people that are considering that for different reasons. And I'm going to keep an eye on the indicators for the long-term trend. So that's why I'm buying dips. I bought a little bit at 10.2, I bought a little bit at 9,800, and my next level is 8,500 to get all that average in there, to add to the average of my other longs that I've had throughout the year. So just wanted to give you a kind of a glimpse of what I'm looking at on the long-term weekly chart. And again, I know it's laggy, but it does bring us some good information for the long-term trend. So again, keep an eye on the RSI to where it would break that level of support, to where it would move us into a bearish zone, and then that's when I would be a little bit nervous, to where this thing could break down, and hopefully it doesn't break this trend line to the downside, this longer term trend line, because that's where I would be really concerned with it moving into a bearish market, to where it would really break down into some significant lows. But for now, I like 8,500, and that's where I'm going to be placing my buys. Again, I know this is not financial advice. I'm just showing you on the chart of where I think, where I show some support and resistance. Everybody make their own decisions. But if you have any questions or comments about the chart or anything else that's going on in crypto world, DM me over on Twitter. I'm at FiboSwanny, and I'll be happy to help and answer your questions if I have time. Peace out. Happy trading.